Hey guys, while I try to, move around the screen hog here, we're going to talk about engaging in BDSM play when you have pets in the house, specifically big doggies. Hey guys, it's Morgan, and it has been a hot minute since I've been able to post a video. Had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and if you want to know about what's been going on, I'm going to post something on my personal channel, so you can check that out, and I will link it in the I thingy, the cards above. You can tell I haven't been on YouTube for a bit because I don't know how to talk to the camera anymore, apparently. Anyways, this, hey, come on, is Wolfgar. Some of you guys may remember a while ago I posted a video. It was like a little more than a year ago. I posted a video saying I got a puppy and I had this adorable little doggy that I could hold in my arms and everything else. Well, that's this guy right here. So I know I'll get a million and one questions about this lovely boy here. His name is Wolfgar, and he's an English Mastiff. Excuse his acne. He hasn't been fixed yet, so he's been getting some zits because he's in that teenage world. Um, but he is an English Mastiff, and he currently weighs somewhere in the ballpark of 160-ish pounds. He's just over a year old. We are expecting that he'll gain another 50 pounds or so before he's full grown. So let's talk about engaging in BDSM play when you have pets in the house. So my list is specifically geared towards dogs and big guys like him, but this could apply just as easily to cats, because I know that they're another sort of typically free range pet that we have. Now, obviously, if you have like a hamster or a snake or something like that that's in a cage, it's not going to be that much of a big deal because they just sit in their cage and do their own thing. We're going to talk about ways that these guys can get upset when you're playing and how to deal with that. Could we stop with the kisses, please? I love you so much, but you are getting drool everywhere. So there's always going to be like the really, really simple solutions. Now, for a dog that is not crazy about your BDSM activities or who just wants to, be involved for whatever reason because he thinks that it's a different kind of play, um, you can just put them in a crate if you have them crate trained, or you can put them in a separate room. Now, that's going to work for some dogs, for others, not so much. Obviously, if your dog is okay with being left, in a room by themselves when you go out and they don't make a lot of noise, or if they're crate trained and they're okay to stay in their crate for a little while, then you're golden. You just put them away, have your fun, let them out when you're done. So I mean, Wolfgar here is crate trained, but even the biggest crate is not really that big. So I don't like to leave them in there that long. So if we're going to do a long play session, then we try to put them in a room as opposed to just the crate, because I'm sorry, he's licking my foot as I'm talking and it's really distracting. But yeah, so I mean, you do what works for you and your dog, but that's best case scenario. It's probably not most of them. Let's get into those. Okay, so let's look at some common problems that you may have with a dog. Um, so resource guarding or getting territorial is probably one of the more common ones that you're going to find. So what I mean by resource guarding is they get upset because somebody else is accessing something they believe is theirs. So if you let the dog sleep in your bed with you at night, the dog is going to think that it's his bed or her bed. And then if you suddenly have somebody new in that bed, they're going to be like, hey, hey, my bed. No. So, there's definitely solutions for that, which, like I said, we'll get to the solutions afterwards. But that is an example of resource guarding. I'm going to throw it out there multiple times. If the behavior that you're experiencing with your dog is to the extreme end of things, you absolutely should engage a professional trainer. If you're not familiar with training dogs, engage a professional trainer. Hell, a professional trainer is, a great solution, if you can afford it, and I just really highly recommend them, because often, even if we're experienced with dogs, we don't know everything. And we may be doing things to make their behavior worse. In fact, most of the time, it's usually our fault that the dogs are misbehaving, because dogs are just being dogs. You know, just because they're not doing what we want them to do, that they're still just being dogs. So it's usually our fault. But anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. Um, so they may be upset that things are happening in what they consider to be their bed. They may view it as an attack, especially since we're talking about BDSM. You know, your dog might get defensive over you because it feels that there's like a fight going on or you're being attacked, especially if you're on the bottom. They, even if you're on the top, they may sort of misinterpret that sort of aggression or whatever, whereas we're like, oh, well, it's just fun aggression. They might interpret it as, you know, aggression. So dogs can still, they are pack animals, so they still want to sort of find their place in the pecking order. So they may sort of challenge a new partner for that sort of place that they feel is theirs. There's some dogs, we'll just point at this one here, who are very clingy and they just want to be with you no matter where it is, no matter what you're doing. They just want to be with you. You know, I go to make dinner and this guy is sitting at my feet while I'm trying to cook. It's a little frustrating sometimes when you trip over a giant dog. I have a small kitchen, so, you know. So that can be a bit of a problem. On the extreme end of the clingy dog is you may run into what's known as separation anxiety, and that's a label that I think gets thrown around a lot when it shouldn't be. Separation anxiety is really specific behaviors. I'm not going to get into that. Again, I'm not a dog trainer. I'm not a behaviorist. I just like dogs. But if you have a dog who has separation anxiety, you really do need to engage a professional because it's a really serious problem that you could have. And sometimes they will cause problems because they're attention seeking. Like, you know, he's wandering off to find the other way to get to his toy. Sit and let's talk about how to fix some of those problems that we were just talking about here. I'll center myself again in the frame. So it's always a good idea to crate train your dog really early when they're a puppy. This way it gets them used to the crate and it sets up the whole idea that the crate is their safe space, it's their spot. So crate training really works. Don't allow your dog on the bed. Yeah, I would be a hypocrite if I told you that, you know, you should never allow your dog on the bed, because this guy sleeps in the bed with us. Sometimes, thankfully, we have a big bed because he seriously takes up more room than I do. You know, because it's just the way it is when you have a giant breed. Exercise your dog first before you get into your own exercise. There's a saying that basically goes, a tired dog is a good dog, and that is really, really true. This guy, if he hasn't had enough exercise, he misbehaves and he gets on our nerves, and we're always like, why are you such a bad boy today? And then we realize, oh, you know, we weren't able to, you know, take him out and play as long as we normally would, or whatever it is. So you can take them out for an extra long walk or a run. You can do energetic games in the house or outside. You can play a game of tug. You can do reward training. So if there's something you want to, like, we're constantly training the dog because dogs like to learn and they like to make us happy, and they like treats. Especially this guy is super food motivated. Like, you wouldn't believe like what he would do for the teeniest, tiniest sliver of chicken. But you know what motivates your dog, and do some reward training. Scent training and tracking activities are a really good thing because they engage the dog's body to go find things, but it also engages his mind. And that's why reward training works as well, because it exhausts them in a good way, physically and mentally. And then there comes to distraction, which is why I have the Kong. So this just looks like a giant butt plug. This is an extra large Kong, and the black ones are the super tough ones, because when you have a dog who has one of the strongest jaws in the dog world, you need the extra strong one. But the great thing about a Kong is that they are hollow, so there's a hole right through it. And what you do, yes, you're paying attention now, aren't you? Aren't you a good boy? Yes, you are. You wait. So the good thing with the Kong is they have the hole, it goes all the way through. No, you wait. Leave it. So what I do is if I know we're going to be going out or if I know we want to have some time, hey, where this guy is not going to bother us, I will stuff this with, you know, some cooked chicken or on occasion some wet dog food. I don't like giving him wet dog food very often because it's usually not very good for them. But sometimes, you know, you're in a hurry and that's all that's on hand. You can even just wet some kibble, stuff it inside, and then you put it in the freezer and you leave it there for an hour or two until it's fairly solid. And what this will do is the shape of the Kong means that it bounces in weird ways, so it keeps them entertained. And as they sort of lick at this, they'll get little bits of food. Okay, you can take it. Okay, you take it. Got it? He's much happier now. He has his Kong. But anyways, as they play with the Kong and lick at it, the food will come out and it will keep them interested in the toy and provide a reward. Chewing offers a lot of comfort for dogs, so that's something that will not only keep them distracted and busy, but it'll also offer them a bit of comfort while you are, you know, making some noises that maybe the dog isn't good with. And he'll slowly start to associate, okay, when the people go off and they make those funny noises, I get a treat, so it's not that big of a deal. And it turns like a negative situation into a positive situation. Along those lines, you can also give a really nice special treat right before you do your stuff. Don't wait for the dog to misbehave. Don't wait for the dog to freak out and get stressed out to give the treat, because then you're training the stress reaction or the freaking out or whatever. You want to, when he's nice and calm, then you give him the treat and then you can go and do your thing. And with any luck, the dog is going to start. I got like dog fur in my nose and dog drool everywhere. It's just lovely. Yay. But if you give the treat and then go and do what you're going to do, the dog will be like, oh, I get a nice thing. I get this really extra special treat. So like maybe a piece of cheese or something like really, really special for the dog. And then, you know, you can go and do your thing and the dog is like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. You know, I get this good treat. And then they go and do something weird. And then, you know, I get lots of love and attention afterwards, right? So, and that's the other thing, make sure the dog gets lots of love and attention after you're done, because that will sort of help if you have like good things and then, you know, a slightly stressful thing, but then good things after, the dog will feel less of that stress. He'll focus on the good stuff on either end. So finally, it's really important to you know, socialize your dog properly to people and to other dogs when they're very young, and that way, hopefully, you can minimize a lot of these negative reactions. On YouTube, there's a trainer that I really, really like. He's not has nothing to do with BDSM, so please don't go to his channel and be like, oh, so I was watching this thing on BDSM, and you know, please don't do that because I just watch his channel. I love his channel, but you know, so let's just keep it to dog stuff and BDSM stuff always separate unless you're into puppy play. We'll talk about that soon, don't worry. But anyways, I'm gonna link his channel up above because he's a fantastic trainer and has some really good videos and just really down to earth, easy to follow advice on how to train your dog. So that's something I really enjoy. And always, always, always like consider hiring a professional or consulting with a professional, especially if you have, you know, some of the more serious problems like separation anxiety or bad resource guarding. If the dog ever exhibits aggression, I'd say that that is always, always, always seek professional advice at that point. You know, talk to your vet. They can recommend a good trainer, or even, I mean, you kind of wonder about the quality of it sometimes, but even your local pet stores will often have either their own training programs. I know we did a puppy class at one of the local pet stores with Wolfgar, but they may also be able to recommend a good trainer. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. If you have more questions about BDSM and playing while you have pets in the house, or if you have an issue that I didn't cover, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer those. And if we need to do another video, we will do that. And again, if you want to find out where I've been and what I've been doing, I'm going to have that on my personal channel. It's not exciting. Actually, it's really depressing. So be warned about that. But yeah, you can always go over to my other channel. So I'm going to sign off here, and I'm going to do the next video because we're getting 2 videos today. Yay! Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you later.